So, in our next nostalgia episode, we are returning to the Latitude, and we are going to finalize the restoration process of the hard drive. Again, where we last left it, there are no drivers on the system. So that's what we're going to be doing in this episode, plus beginning the restoration process, sort of, on another computer. But again, like you saw in the last episode, the HP is now upstairs in my office. Which so far we've had no luck yet, no weather radio stream started on there. But maybe we'll see if something like the Latitude can do better. If I decide to do so with this thing, if it is capable, then I'll have to upgrade this thing to Windows 10. Maybe I'll see if I can do the LTSB, which will provide updates for several more years. But what we're going to be doing in this episode is we're going to be installing all the drivers. So again, we don't have a proper display driver, we don't have the Wi-Fi card, but on this flash drive here is all of the applications for all the drivers. So we're going to go ahead and install them all one by one, and I know I have several that are like duplicates. So I'll just ignore the duplicate files. So we're going to start with the audio card. Yes, user account control, can't get enough of it. And while this is going, if we go into device manager, the audio driver I'm assuming it's using is the default one. So I suppose it's using the default driver. And the display adapter is the default one. So everything is default. Realtek HD codec. That is what we are going to install. This will install the audio driver. Yes. Please make sure you are closing all recording applications. Essentially what it is like applications that are using the sound card to play back audio or videos. Like what I'm talking about is Windows Media Player, VLC Player. If it could be something like whatever website you're on that's outputting audio, it's talking about that, closing that, because what it's going to do is it's going to cut off the audio while the new driver is being installed. And we can see that it is doing its job. It says speaker headphones. We have no sound, but that's perfectly normal. That's the installation progress. The Dell backup and recovery tool. Network frame fork 4 is required, so we'll install that too. Oh, it looks like it wants to try to load the website in the up in Internet Explorer. Which reminds me, let's install the network driver next. So let's see, there's an A12. Let's install this one. So the Ethernet network driver, let's install that. Current version, now install new version. Do you want to continue? Yes. Backup and recovery failed. Let's give it another try. 4, you can use the driver. You must restart. We're going to tell it no. We are not going to restart. Yes, it says successful, but now restart is required. All right. We should be able to connect to the internet now. Let's see. Let's see if we can install the other one. This is the Wi-Fi driver, so this is the one we want. So now this is going to install the Wi-Fi driver on the system. So now this will allow us to wirelessly connect to the internet, and we can finish downloading programs and stuff like that. And what's even better is that we will be able to update Windows. Yes, even though people don't even read the terms and conditions and support and stuff like that. So there we go. We're going to see that menu change. Meanwhile, I'll just go ahead and run the installers of the remaining drivers. And if there are any duplicates, I'll delete those. Success. You're about to install the management engine. Yes, that's what we're going to install. Accept it. We're going to install it. We're going to give the we're going to try the Dell backup and recovery tool again. Oh, that's right. It needs network 4. So let's connect it to the internet. The whole thing is weirdly worded on Windows 7. I mean, it's a lot different than it is over on Windows 10. And we are online. That is great. And of course, when you connect to a new network, it'll tell you like where the network is and everything like that. Okay, so now that we have the network card installed, no, I'll do that later. Okay, let's see. It looks like we cannot download it. All right, so let's put another browser on here. This is everything. No, we will reboot later. Okay, what's going on here? Oh yeah, this is that same thing. All right, let's move on. Where are we at? Chipset. There are a lot of other drivers. So I think it was that chipset one that we just did. Was it that one? I think it was that chipset we just did, didn't we? Let's see what this one is. That microelectronics freefall data protection. This is the digital accelerometer. Alright, next. Yes, I accept the terms and conditions, and let's install. Microcard reader. And I see the Dell audio program already. Let's go ahead and just get the display driver taken care of. Yes. Install. So then I should be able to use the features like control, the brightness. Yeah, enable arrow. Supported operating systems, Windows 7, 8, 8.1. This was released in 2019. I'm surprised this one didn't even support Windows 10. Even though it says Windows 8.1, damn, it must have taken these guys a while to get this thing ready for Windows 10. But anyway, we'll just let it sit there and we'll let it do its work. In the meantime, I will move on with the next flash memory card. O2. This is called O2. When I think of O2, I think about that network carrier, that cell phone carrier in the UK. But that's an entirely different thing. So now what that display driver installer is doing, and it is all done. So looks like it's not going to ask us for a reboot. So we're going to install the DDP protected workspace driver next. And just thinking about it, it's too bad that Windows 10 does not have those arrow effects. This is about the Dell protection tool and Windows 7. We're going to go ahead and create. Okay. And this is the folder. Let's install it. Invisiga setup. Alright, so now it's installing. And Dell Command Update is the manufacturer driver updater tool. The tool that your manufacturer provides for drivers. Microsoft Framework 4.6.1 needs to be installed. Okay. Okay, so we're going to have to go and install that. Meanwhile, I'm just going to install Edge on Windows 7 right away, because, I mean, Windows 7 is compatible with Microsoft Edge. In fact, I think Microsoft pushed that out in an update at some point. So that's what I'm going to do once we're done with the drivers. So I'm not sure if that's the install driver. That's the end of the memory card, so we'll just hit finish. Again, we'll need to restart for everything. Dell Protected Workspace. Now, I mean, this is true because all of this is... you must restart the system. We're going to do that later. So we're just going to cancel that for right now. So what do we have to install next? Dell Digital Delivery. This is the... So now I know what the purpose of this is. So if you are... So like if you're migrating to a different computer, or if you had to reinstall Windows, you could re-download applications that you have purchased from that tool. And this requires 4.5. That is great. So I'm going to delete the ones that have been done, and then I'll finish the process later. So next is the touchpad driver. And this E6540A27 is a BIOS update. And it says it's supposed to update it to A27. But I want to see what BIOS this is running. This is A27, and oh, it looks like it's already running .NET Framework for me. Nice. This is running A24, which is from 2018. So yeah, pretty outdated BIOS. Now I'm gonna run that last because it might just end up restarting the... It's probably gonna end up restarting the machine. So we're gonna install the Wi-Fi link. Now, the display driver does not work at the moment. However, it will take effect when we restart. I guess it must have crashed or didn't even run. Well, I think it is running, because it does have the user account control. We've already done the graphics card. Now we're going to do the host controller. So I think it's installing the Wi-Fi link in the background. Yes, I accept the terms. This is for Windows 7. So now we'll let the driver install. And this is an Ethernet controller driver. This platform is not compatible or the application is in use. Okay, so I think, let's see, which one do we run here? So it says it unzipped the file, so what do we run? Well, that's because we're gonna wait to restart. Alright, so this is the 0 minutes. I find that weird. So, yeah, I think this is part of the update process. So, you are free to browse the web safely using Dell's protected workspace. And that's what we're going to continue with a little bit later on here. So what do? Do we, like, launch a security catalog? So I suppose these are like security catalogs. Okay. All right. So next we have to install the network application. And I think we already did the network driver. This is ProSet Wireless. Great, the Inspiron just rebooted. Oh boy. Now we'll see what that does. Alright, accept the terms. I guess it must, I guess that must wait before continuing any further. Alright, the serial driver. This is rapid storage technology, and we'll do the system utilities as well. That should be the last of them. The rapid storage requires network 4.5, which is already being installed. Accept the terms, install. This tool actually helps better optimize the system for power usage. That's what this tool does. So maybe we'll need to restart before we can try these again. Alright, that's installed. And now let's try this again. So we have the ProSet. So we have the ProSet wireless card. We have the Intel management. We got the Dell Command Power Manager and Workspace. Okay, that's all installed. And now we are going to finish by installing the BIOS. This is Dell Data Security. This also requires Framework 4. So the framework is already installed, however we need to restart. Bluetooth driver is installed. That is the warning. Yes. Be sure that all these details are correct. Yes. Alright. So what's going to happen now is the computer is going to restart, and it will begin the process of updating the BIOS. And in addition, this will also configure the drivers. This will configure and properly set up all the drivers that required a restart. So while the BIOS continues to update, this is the computer that we're going to be doing next. The Inspiron 5520 that also came pre-installed with Windows 7. However, I still find it interesting that the Latitude has the Windows 10 or 8 logo, even though this is Windows 7 pre-installed. So again, as I mentioned, I believe that when Dell manufactured this, they pre-installed Windows 7, but then I believe the user had the option to upgrade it to Windows 8 or 8.1, I think it was. But I mean, it is compatible with Windows 10. If it is compatible with Windows 10, then I might just end up upgrading this to Windows 10, and I'll see if I can upgrade it to that tiny release of 11, and if I can, then I will. Which probably I will not be able to. This is just like the BIOS update on my two main computers, so that the only difference is the logo. And the update is successful. I might just end up upgrading this to 10 and then leave the next computer we'll be doing on Windows 7, because when I was looking at that on Dell's website, it says it's not compatible with Windows 10, but that's alright. This thing does support 10, so I might end up upgrading this to 10 and then leave the Inspiron on 7. But I'll see what I can get installed on it. And as we can see, now we have the proper display drivers. So now we have a much bigger screen. We're not able to lower the brightness just yet. But now we should have proper drivers. Yes, we do, because now I can see. So now I can see that we have a much bigger screen resolution. And we had the fade in and out effect. However, it was just doing the system assessment after installing the drivers. And there we go. Windows 7 in its true glory. Just amazing. Well, let's take a look at the Dell audio program, see what that's about. That's the security warning before executing. And are we able to control the brightness? Yes, we are. I see the Dell audio program. That's good news. And yes, this has the Max Audio Pro. English, United States. So now .NET Framework 4 should be properly configured. And I'm going to check the programs just to be sure. I heard an error. It looks like no, it did. Framework 4 client profile. The browser built by Google. That's what we're going to install. Download should automatically begin. And I'm going to use this browser to install Microsoft Edge, because I do not plan on using the Chrome browser as my main browser specifically for this machine, even though I've been seeing on a lot of Google sites on Microsoft Edge saying that it's better if you switch to Chrome. But I mean, technically I did use Google Chrome as the main browser within the, I'd say the first 3 years of, like the first few years of Windows 10 support. That was until Microsoft was able to use the Chromium engine. That was before Microsoft used the Chromium engine for the Chrome browser. So essentially at that point, so we'll have to get back to that. So at that point, that's when I officially made the switch to Microsoft Edge, and I have been using that browser as my main browser ever since. And ever since then, Microsoft has actually been adding many more features to the Edge browser, which includes tools that the Google Chrome browser does not have. Like, for example, the Math Solver tool, where you could just take a snip of the screen and you could get assistance. In fact, the Google app actually does have those features. The Google app has those features where you can just scan it with the camera and it'll provide some assistance. I've been seeing ads for Google stuff lately when I've been scrolling through my recommended feed on my YouTube channel and stuff like that. So we're almost done here. We're just going to let the Chrome browser download and install. And then I'll just use the browser to download Framework 4.5 and all that good stuff. Meanwhile, let's go back to the audio program. And you know what my favorite thing is to do? Play the test sample. I really enjoy the test sample. I could just play with it all day if I wanted to. Oh, the speakers do not sound pleasant. At a much louder volume, they definitely do not sound pleasant. We're just gonna go ahead and move on to this Key in Cloud is the recovery tool for the next computer we're gonna be doing. I actually was able to install this copy of Windows in a virtual machine. However, when I attempted to use this tool, more specifically on an Acer OEM that I was able to successfully install, it was more specifically for an Aspire computer, I was able to properly install that. But, however, I tried running the tool in there, and it told me that I can't even run it in a virtual machine. Which I think that's fair. And I find it quite interesting, too, because I was curious to see if I could run manufactured programs inside of a virtual machine. This here is the tool that we're going to install. So we're going to go ahead and execute the setup. SoftThings, the same people that made the HP recovery utility. So this is Dell Direct Key, and this is the tool we're going to use to make the recovery media for the next computer. However, we cannot go any further with the recovery just yet, because what we first have to do is finish installing all the other drivers, like more specifically what was it that couldn't install? Dell Digital Delivery, Dell Command, I think it was. Okay, so that's supposed to say it's finished. Now, when I tried running this on my actual computer, it didn't even execute at all. And look at that. Now it'll execute. That's awesome. However, we're not going any further with that process just yet, because what we first have to do is get Framework 4.5 installed. We'll have to do it via an alternate browser, and I'll download the Edge browser as well and just get it over with. I'm not sure if that installation direct key tool that we're going to use to make the media for the next computer is going to come with all the drivers. So we need Framework 4.5, Network Framework 4.5.2. We're going to download Edge. This is version 109. So Chrome 109 was the last Chrome version that was released for the browser. Well, not for this browser in general, but this was the last version of Chrome to support Windows 7 before Google dropped support for the OS. And over the past couple of weeks over at my part-time job, while I was getting stuff like that ready, when I was getting Chromebooks update and everything, I noticed a lot of them were running versions like Chrome 109. They were running like 109. I think I saw a few that were running like version 94, which was like a really old version. So I spent my time updating them all to the latest. Well, now it's not really the latest, but 114 is currently the latest version of the Chrome browser and Chrome OS. I don't know about a Chromebook, considering that now I use Microsoft Edge as the default browser, but, you know, if I ever get into a situation where I have to use a Chromebook for school, and yeah, then Chrome would be the only option, and I would just use that on there, and I would just use Edge on Windows. It says these update files are for Windows 8. But this is Windows 7, not Windows 8. This is the offline installer, so of course everything is going to be 0. And just for fun, let's play the audio sample. Let's play the audio sample of all these apps are downloading. It's like a mixture of jazz and such. It's a mixture of jazz and classical. You know, ever since I first discovered that program, I would always go after the audio sample. I wonder if I could find the MP3 of the audio sample anywhere. Let's see if I could find it. Where will we go? Program files. Okay, waves. This is all of its files. I guess not. Let's see if it's in Dell. Command Power Manager. No, it's not there. It's not even going to be in the x86 either. The backup and recovery tool, that's what we were going to try and install. But we never got a chance to do so. Alright. So, we have Edge. We no longer need Chrome. Now that Edge is doing all the work. Google Chrome. That's the one we want to remove. Let's just play the audio sample again. I'll just set it right there and let it play in the background. I want to see if I could try a BSOD. Delete browsing data. Change the default browser back. And yes, remove. The uninstall survey actually loads. No, Edge is going to be the default. You just uninstalled Chrome. We're sorry to see you go. Please help us improve by filling out this short survey. What is your primary reason for uninstalling? Neither of those. Here's the reason why. We're switching to Microsoft Edge. No, I don't want data from not going to sign in. Yes, go ahead. Make it more useful. Microsoft Edge is no longer supported on this version of Windows. Upgrade to Windows 10 or later to get regular feature and security updates. Yeah, so I see even Microsoft pulled the plug on support on Edge on this specific version. Oh well, at least it's decent enough. I'll see if I can upgrade to LTSB. The same message is coming up twice. What version is this? So this is also 109. So this version of Edge is also 109. So that's the last version of Edge that is also supported. What were we going to try and install previously? Oh yeah, the backup and recovery, I think that was. What else? Digital delivery? Yeah, I think it said backup and recovery was unsuccessful. Were we also going to install... Oh yeah, Dell Digital Delivery. Okay, so I think it was that other installation that's in progress. That's probably the framework. We still got to wait on the framework, and then we'll move right along. Let's actually see if I can sync the clock with the Windows Server. I'll see if that's even possible on Windows 7. That'd be nice. Clock, language, and region. It is syncing with the Windows Server. Update now. Successfully synced. Okay, we're good with that. Add the clock gadget to the desktop. Oh yeah, this was the best part of... This is probably the best part of Windows 7. You could just put gadgets anywhere you want on the... You can put gadgets anywhere you want on the bar, but on the desktop. But unfortunately, a lot of these services no longer work. Yeah, the new service doesn't work anymore. It actually does work still, because it just said news and features. Dell Digital Delivery was successful. All right, framework is installed. Did we install backup and recovery already? I think we did. So what were we going to try and install? Oh yeah, this thing. This is what we were going to try and install. So I'm not going to be installing any Windows updates for this specific episode, but I will be doing that with the recovery of the Inspiron, which we will be doing in the next episode. Okay, so we've got this machine substantially updated. This page cannot be displayed. That is wonderful. But anyway, so we've got this thing substantially set up. We have all the drivers, well, nearly all the drivers and original software installed, so that's great news. However, there are still a few more steps that we have to do. The other thing we still have to do is update Windows, meaning go to Windows Update and install the latest, all the updates for Windows 7 from Microsoft prior to the end of support. I am not sure if this is going to come with the, I'm not sure if this is going to come with the paid service patches. I don't think it's going to come with those. So until then, thanks for watching. See you next time.